Okay, so here's the thing. I did an unboxing video early on, but that didn't turn out too well. The video was too rushed, and I didn't get to say everything I wanted to say. I had to gloss over a few details about the package, but I have to do another one now. This one isn't gonna be as good. Well, kind of. It'll be better technically speaking. But what I mean is, as you can see, I already opened the box, so this is gonna be less of an unboxing and more so of me just kind of analyzing what's in the package. So sorry, it's not gonna be as good as I want it to be. It's gonna be a fake unboxing. Much like if you watch my unboxing for Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD Remix, uh, that one didn't go over as well as I wanted it to as well. Either, but anyway, finally, the collector's edition for Final Fantasy Type-0 HD. For those of you who don't know or who don't remember, Type-0 was originally announced as Final Fantasy Agito 13 for mobile phones in Japan. Well, worldwide eventually. Square announced it about 2015, 9 years ago. Oh, Jesus, about 9 years ago. 10, did they announce it? No, it was 06. They announced Type Agito 13 and Final Fantasy Versus 13 about 9 years ago. Back then, Square said that Agito 13, well, Final Fantasy Agito 13 was going to be for mobile phones. Then eventually they discontinued the mobile phone version and announced the PSP version of the game. According to Square, they were always going to do a PSP version of the game as well as a mobile phone version, but they said they didn't feel like waiting for mobile phones to become advanced enough to handle the game, so they decided to stop that altogether and just go ahead with the PSP version only. Well, let's see. One discontinued platform, and about 5 years later, Type-0 came. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, when they announced they were canceling the PSP version, the mobile phone version of the game, that's when they announced the name change from Final Fantasy Agito 13 to Final Fantasy Type-0, because according to Square, Type-0 no longer resembled the project they set out to create using Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy Versus 13. All three games were going to bear the moniker Final Fantasy 13 and all have a shared mythos, but telling that mythology in different forms with all three different games, different settings, different characters. Neither game, for all three games, neither one was a sequel nor a prequel to the others, but again, same mythology, same basic idea, but just telling the story in different ways with different characters and settings. That was the idea. But according to Square, after 13 was finally released, and they looked back at Agito 13 and decided it doesn't resemble the other two games as much as it used to. So instead of like canceling the project or something, let's keep going, give it a different name, and just keep the project going. Project. I say that with a very, very sarcastically, because for those of you paying attention, that project fell through altogether. Agito 13 became Final Fantasy Type-0, and Final Fantasy Versus 13 became Final Fantasy 15, but that's a story for another time. Let's not even get into that right now. So again, back to this. Type-0 came out in Japan on PSP in 2011, October of 2011, right before 13.2 came out. Now, 4 years later, we finally got it on PS4. A lot of fans were disappointed. They wanted it to be on PSP instead, Vita rather, instead, outside Japan, but Square didn't want that. They wanted to put it on PS4, which may have been beneficial because the director for the game, I believe, or the producer, I forget his name, when they originally started making Final Fantasy Agito 13, the guy actually wanted to put the game on PS3, but Square said, no, we want it on mobile phones and PSP, so kind of had to force that part. But now it's on consoles like the guy wanted. So I guess his vision has been fulfilled in a way. I mean, remember, the game was made for PSP, so it's not exactly optimized for PS4. It's not optimized for a console. If you played, I guess, like Ratchet and Clank Size Matters or God of War Ghost of Sparta and God of War Chains of Olympus, from PSP to PS2, or PS3, depending, what was it? Yeah, PS3. The two PSP God of War games were put in PS3, not PS2. But yeah, if you played those, you may have noticed that backgrounds were a little flat and the graphics weren't as sharp as they were for the PS2 games. Obviously, because those are PSP games ported to PS3. And same thing for Ratchet Clank Size Matters, port from PSP to PS2. And I think the same thing for, like, say, Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. Again, PSP to PS2. It was a smooth port, but, things looked flat. They weren't as sharp looking as any other PS2 or PS3 game. So, not that the game suffered much, really, but it's just take the graphics, at least, with a grain of salt. They weren't going to look as visually clear, but Square has been going above and beyond what they could do with simple ports. Like when they ported Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2 over to PS3, they did more than they really needed to. They improved the facial structures of all the characters. They improved the music. At least I think it's improved. Some people were disappointed with the slight remixes of some of the songs, but I enjoyed them. They even fixed something like as minute as shadow details from PS2 to PS3 and Vita even. I don't know, if you looked closely at some character models, doing some cutscenes, you look closely at the shadows, they were just kind of like small black blobs on the ground, but on PS3 and Vita, they were improved to actually look like real shadows of the characters they were representing, not just some black substance just to say, oh, here's a shadow. The lighting in the game is really good, or slightly good. Anyway, okay, enough rambling. Truth be told, I'm a little more, let's see what's in the package first. Anyway, so the game comes with a steelbook case for Final Fantasy Type-0 itself, an art book, and a 200-page manga. I have no idea why that's there. I'll look into it. Don't get me wrong, but I was surprised to see that there. It's, a pack of Ace's cards. If you don't know, Ace is the main character of the game. At least I think he is. I mean, Enter the Fray as Class 0. Well, yeah, Class 0 as a whole is being highlighted in this game. So I don't know if Ace is the main character or if he was just like chosen to be like a centralized representative of the game itself. I don't know. I kept myself completely in the dark about the game in order to be surprised by it. Except for, yeah, the difference that I did with Final Fantasy Versus 13 or 15 now and Final Fantasy Type-0 was that I kept myself in the dark for Type-0, but I kept studying Final Fantasy 15 for years until we got more information on it, until it's finally coming out. So for Type-0, I'm completely in the dark about it. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that it takes place. It's supposed to take place in the middle of a war between Rubrum, which is where Class 0 is from. Their school is there where they were taught how to fight, I guess, and a neighboring country called Milites, who, I guess, they want the crystals. I don't know. I don't know really about the 4 different countries that I've seen in the trailers. Rubrum, Class 0's home, is represented by... Damn, I actually forgot what it was called. Some people may know what I'm talking about. The 4 different animals who guard the 4 different gates of the world. The Vermilion Bird of the north, the Azure Dragon of the south, the White Tiger of the west, and the Black Tortoise of the east. The 4 different countries are all represented by these 4 different animals. Milites is represented by the White Tiger, and Rubrum is represented by the Vermilion Bird. Is that going to play a big part in the story? I don't know. Maybe those of you who imported Type-0 or acquired it by various morally ambiguous means. You know more than I do. All we know is that it's something about a war. Class 0 has to fight it. It's supposed to switch perspective between Class 0 and a brother and sister duo named Machina and Rem. I have no idea what the part of the story is, but apparently they're supposed to be observing Class 0 from the sidelines while going through their own story arc in the game. Also, there comes a Type-0 HD, and apparently only available for the collector's edition. I don't understand why that is. Maybe they'll be able to later on. Is a demo for Final Fantasy 15 episode Duske. Called such because it takes place in an area called Duske within Final Fantasy 15. I also forgot to mention there's also an OST in the game, which I will look forward to immensely. Without further ado, let's finally get into it. Alright. First off, the steelbook case, like I mentioned before. I don't know if you can see it very well. The light in my room is kind of messing with it. Oh, I think I had it upside down. Oops, I did have it upside down. Okay. Type-0 plus the OST, like I mentioned. I have no idea what these. The light's messing with it again. You can't. Can you see it? No, you can't. Well, the logo for the game. Two figures. I have no idea what they represent. What they represent within Fabula Nova Crystallis. Two goddesses, I guess. Not sure what they're supposed to mean. I don't know. We'll see. Here is the. Oh, I'll keep this right here. You can see it slightly. Whoops. The 200-page manga I mentioned before. Again, no idea what this is about. I am looking forward to reading it, though. I'm on the side. I don't know if it's going to be backstory or if it's going to be just like supplementary material. Like something that, maybe not backstory, but like one of those things where the information is there, like like a day in the life of Class Zero. Not really important to the story, but it's nice to have it there. Maybe for like just to get a better idea of the personalities before you go into the game or afterwards. Who knows? Art book. Class 0, 842. Should I go to other Class Zeros? I wonder. Are they called Class 0 because, Final Fantasy Type-0, or is there a reason for that? Webrum Orient. Now, I mentioned before, like I said, I did an unboxing video before, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen in the game. This is what surprised me before. I mentioned a brother-sister duo named Machina and Rem who's supposed to observe Class 0 from the side. Well, there they are right there, but according to this, they're a part of Class 0, which confuses me. But again, I said before, I kept myself in the dark about the game so much. So I don't know, I really don't know what's going on. All I know is Class 0, which apparently includes Machina and Rem. Also, the Class 0's teacher is pretty cool. He's like he has like a Shogun mask on his face. I don't know. It looks really cool. Class 0, let's see. Rem, Miss Magical, which I guess she still in magic. Machina, honor student. Jack, class clown. 9, hardcore hothead. Okay. So I'm surprised, honestly. 7, everyone's big sis. Honestly, I looked at that for a second. I thought 7 was a guy. Square loves androgyny. At least that's what Nomura does. Deuce, motivated musician. Oh, that's cool. So I guess her weapons have to do with music. King, man of few words. So I guess that makes him like Lexius from Kingdom Hearts. Only probably not so. Lexius, despite the fact that he's called the silent hero or the Tactun stalwart, as they had to retcon it as. I don't know why. Sometimes the King's going to speak a lot, or at least frequently. Oh, 8. Pint-sized puncher. I remember on one of the trailers, if you saw the early trailers for the game, Class 0 took off their robes and started displaying their weapons. I distinctly remember 8 being the one to kind of clasp his fists together, getting ready to fight, or whatever it is they were going to fight. I guess the invading Militie's army. That stood out to me. Cease or Sice, straight shooting cynic. So I guess she has guns, I assume. There's Ace. Cool card shark. Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of lame to call him. I mean, he uses cards in battle. I get that, but you could think of something better than that, couldn't you? I don't know. Queen, goody two shoes. Again, based on just on the trailers, Queens seemed to be the leader to me. She seemed to be the one in charge, leading the group. But that's the impression I got from the trailers. I don't know for sure. Again, I haven't played the game. I just did a very terrible unboxing. I had to do it over again. Trey, know-it-all. Would that mean he's a red mage then? I don't know, maybe. Oh, then again though, Jack. because the way that people describe a red mage, a jack of all trades, a master of none. If you don't realize, red mages in the Final Fantasy series can learn both black magic and white magic, but they can't master it. They can't learn the highest level of black magic and white magic spell. So let's say, for instance, Meteor or Flare or Holy are going to be in this game. If anyone in here is a red mage, they won't be able to learn those spells. You only get the dedicated black and white mages to learn them. Which, by the looks of something tells me Queen might be the dedicated black mage. I don't know. I'm assuming. Don't blame me if I'm wrong. We'll see. Cater, a real pistol. Bullshit. That's a ridiculous description. Just she uses pistols. That's what you're gonna call it. Retarded. Sink, destructive dits. Okay. We'll see how that works out. I'll be interested in seeing that. Okay, well, I'll look through the rest of the art book later. I showed you that little piece. I don't know what copyrights can get me. Don't look too far into it. Spoilers. And Aces cards. And on this one, Ifrit. Oh, Ifrit. Damn it. Ifrit. The fire summon of the series. As you see, I haven't opened up the cards yet, but let's see what's in here. Oh, open up easily. That's good. Trash. Don't know who that is. I don't think, unless maybe. Oh, obviously. I could be wrong. Oh no, wait. I think. Okay, if I got this right. Ifrit, the fire summon. We all know who that is. A demon from hell who uses the attack Hellfire on his enemies. Who can only assume is Shiva, the ice summon. We all know who Shiva is, the great ice queen. Doesn't love her. Very obviously, the Final Fantasy X incarnation of Shiva is everyone's favorite. Though, truth be told, I'll be honest, I think Final Fantasy X incarnation of Shiva is my second favorite. I know, everyone doesn't like Final Fantasy 13, but I don't know. I thought Shiva turning into a motorcycle was really cool. I thought that was cool. We'll talk about that later. I want to say Hades. If you can see it better than I can. I want to say Hades. Haven't seen Hades since Final Fantasy 9. Unless it was in 11 or 14 and I'm missing that. I haven't played either one of those, so don't blame me if I'm wrong about that. Bahamut, the King of Dragons. My favorite summon in every single game in the series. Final Fantasy X Incarnation is my absolute favorite. I did see what I assume was Bahamut in the original trailer for Final Fantasy 14. Get this out of the light. There we go, that's better. No, the light's there again. Alright, well, just trying to deal with it. I did see what I thought it was. I assumed it was Bahamut in the original trailer for Final Fantasy 14, so I'm assuming that was Bahamut, in which case that would be my favorite one because he was a giant towering over a mountain. But then again, we'll see what the Final Fantasy 15 incarnation of Bahamut looks like, or what he looks like in Final Fantasy 14 The One Reborn. I don't know, they changed the look. What kind of... I can only assume to be Diablo from Final Fantasy VIII. For those who played Final Fantasy VIII and didn't hate it, Diablo was the summon of gravity, another demon thing. He used gravity-based powers. What's interesting to note is that despite the fact that... let me spoil it. I'll say what happens. Once you progress through a little bit of the game in Disc 1, that chairman, Headmaster Sid, will send everyone on a mission, and he'll give the player a lamp. I forgot what it's called. Lamp or gene lamp, something like that. It's a lamp. What's interesting is that if you highlight the lamp, the game specifically wants you to save before you activate it. And I guess if the game explicitly tells you to save before you activate the item, obviously you should heed that warning. Well, interesting to note, the lamp activates a fight with Diablo, but interesting to note, apparently you actually can't lose that fight since all of Diablo's attacks are gravity-based. All these majority of his attacks are gravity-based. So you're in little to no harm of losing the fight. But I guess you should still save before you fight it. I can't remember exactly because it's been a long time since I did that boss fight. So if I'm wrong, correct me on it. I looked it up once. I'm pretty sure you can't lose the fight. because he's all gravity-based attacks, and gravity-based attacks in Final Fantasy do set damage. Oof, can't wait to use these. I mean, in game, not in real life. If I could use it in real life, that would be awesome. If you don't know, apparently, a very cool thing about Type-0, instead of actually summoning summons, you actually turn into them. I don't know how limited or I don't know how restricted or freely accessible this is for characters. Like, I don't know if it's like one summon per character, or maybe it's like Final Fantasy 7 or 8. Whoever has the summon equipped to them, go ahead and use it. You know, but yeah, you turn into. I was actually really confused when I saw the original trailers for Type-0 years ago. I noticed characters were like kind of dropping dead in the middle of a fight. Then the summon popped up. I couldn't figure out what the hell that was until years later. I didn't look into it. Again, I kept myself completely in the dark about Type-0 because I wanted to be as surprised by this game as possible. And hopefully I will be. I may have way to spoil it online. I'm hoping it wasn't true. It's a random comment on YouTube. Idiot me for reading it. I don't know. But yeah, I couldn't understand what the hell that was. Them dropping dead and then turning, and then the summons popped up. But turns out you can turn into summons. That's something I didn't know. Sorry. Again, in the dark. Those of you who import the game or again obtained it by morally ambiguous means, well, you know more than I do. One thing I am looking forward to in the game that I saw in one of the trailers, older trailer, still on one's PSP, still in Japan only. Pardon me. Robot Odin versus Robot Behemoth. I don't know where, why, or when, but I want to do that. Robot Odin versus Robot Behemoth. That's something I cannot wait for. I don't know if you can hear, but that's my cat in the background. You ever seen him in the video popping his head up a couple times. Last couple things. One, I don't know, what is this? Instruction manual? You can call that the way games are today. Okay, this is for the OST that comes with the game. 15 songs only. Interesting. I'll read them out. 1 through 15. Tempest Bellum, The Beginning of the End, Guided Conclusion, Divine Fire, Servant of the Crystal, Machina Kunagiri, Rem Tokimiya. Oh, they're not related? I thought those were brother and sister. Or maybe they're like adopted brother and sister. Or even half brother and sister, who knows? War, The White Weapon, War, Howl the Dreadnought, War, The Quiet Bloodbath, Tempest Fini, Vermilion Fire, Type-0, funny, Colorful, Falling in Love, and Utakata. Making too much noise, Alistair. I don't know what you're doing that for. My cat once again. And last thing, and one thing that this is much reason I pre-ordered the game honestly was for this. A voucher code to download Final Fantasy Type 15. Damn it, Final Fantasy 15 episode Duske. Honestly, the only real reason I pre-ordered the game. The OST and the artwork and it were cool and everything, but I wanted this mostly. And it's weird that it's a voucher code instead of just being freely available. Square initially said that there'll be a demo available for 15 with Final Fantasy Type-0, but then backtracked and then said, oh, it's gonna be a voucher code, you have to redeem. And then backtracked again and said, oh, it's only available for the collector's edition for Final Fantasy Type-0 and not going to be freely available in the regular game. That annoyed the shit out of me. I mean, I love collector's editions and all. I love all this extra stuff. I love the art book. I'm going to look through that. I love the OST. I'm glad I have the OST and this cool manga. I'm glad for all this stuff. But again, it was just an aggravate that you had to go through. Yeah, you had to get this, $100 for this. For this. Maybe Square will make it fully available later on PSN. Hopefully they will. But I want to play this immediately. 15 episode Duske. I haven't played it yet. I'm waiting for the weekend to do that because according to Square, the demo for Final Fantasy 15 is supposed to be about an hour long to 3 hours long, depending on what you're doing. 1 hour if you just go from the beginning to the end, up to 3 hours if you want to do all the side stuff in the game. I'm looking forward to that. I wanted more time to play it. I didn't play it immediately. I downloaded it. I installed Type-0. I'm gonna get also that this weekend, and I'll give you my impressions of the game soon enough. I'll give you my impressions for Type-0 first. 15 first, the demo, since that's so short compared to this monstrosity. Oh, one last thing. I actually forgot something. Look closely. You see what I see? Nah, I'm not knocking the game at all. Don't get me wrong. I did not even know this, period, at all. Like, I don't know if it was rated the M equivalent in Japan or something. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention when the game was finally coming out. I assumed T. I think I saw it was T, wasn't it? But like the first trailers for the English version of Type-0, I think I saw it rated T15. I don't remember exactly. I have to look back into that. But I'm surprised, honestly. This has to be I think it is the first ever M-rated Final Fantasy game. Like the first, we'll say 6 games. I want to say 10. Well, it is the first 10 games technically, or technically the first 14 games were all rated T15. But if for those of you who may have been paying attention, or those of you who are big fans like I am, maybe we bought 1 through 6 on various platforms when they re-rated the games lower, like E for Everyone. I noticed that immediately. 4, 5, and 6 were rated T15s when they first came out, but then when they got released on like GBA, they were re-rated E for Everyone. And then when 4 was released on PSP, back to a T rating. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's because of Final Fantasy IV, the after years of Final Fantasy IV Interlude. Maybe there's something in there that they decided to re-rate the T15s. Don't know, because I never played through those 2 games. I just bought again to play through Final Fantasy IV again. I don't know. And 5 and 6 are available on iOS instead, so it's 1, 2, and 3. Matter of fact, I think 3 is rated E for Everyone now too, isn't it? Or if it's still teen. I have to double check this. But again, my point is, Final Fantasy games are usually rated T15s. This is the first one to actually ever be rated M for mature out the gate. Blood, drug references, suggestive themes, violence. Well, that's all available for a T-rated game too. So who knows what happens in the future if this is like re-released on I don't know, let's say PlayStation 5 or something, PlayStation 6. When they come out like a special edition of the game, re-releasing it. Maybe it would be like 4, 5, and 6, re-rated to T15, because they look back on it and think, yeah, not exactly as violent as we thought it was. Because the Ratchet & Clank games were originally T15 on PS2. Then come PS3, they're rated E for Everyone, because, again, or E10, rated E10. Because, yeah, Ratchet & Clank isn't as violent, or even really that suggestive as people maybe have originally thought back in, I don't know, 02 to 05 maybe. Those first 2 games came out in. I don't know. It's kind of, I guess it's a values dissonance. Time goes on, we kind of think back and, yeah, this isn't as bad as we thought it was. I don't know. I'm just surprised. I just noticed it out of nowhere. It was on my bed. I walked past it, glanced to it, and saw the M rating, blown away. So that's interesting. I can't wait to see what's actually going to happen. The trailers look really interesting, and I'm so glad that Type-0 is getting such monumental critical reception early at the game. Even before the game even came out, just trailers and gameplay impressions of it, everyone was praising the game, and that Final Fantasy 15 is following the same route, getting nothing but praise. So the demo seems to be getting some mixed responses from fans. I'll check that out myself. But again, I'm just glad Type-0 and 15 are doing so well out the gate. Maybe Square's learned to listen to, you know? Try to stop pleasing all the fans and just do what the hell you want to do. Anyone remember Bravely Default? Because I don't. I haven't played the game yet, but I'm going to. Classic JRPG elements, and Square was surprised that people actually liked that. So it made them rethink the whole, let's put out a Final Fantasy every year decision, or let's try to appeal to the mass market decision. That's what Lightning Returns is actually for. Do you know that Square actually wanted to make Lightning Returns to appeal to mass markets? That's entirely other conversation for some time later. I'm not gonna get into it right now. But yeah, just let that sink in for a second. Square actually wanted Lightning Returns to appeal to the mass market. In other words, As always, another developer falling prey to trying to chase the almighty Call of Duty dollar. Not that I personally hate Call of Duty or anything, but not everything has to be annualized. Not everything has to make billions of dollars every single time. Not everything has to be dumbed down for casual markets, or even has to appeal to casual markets. And Type-0, 15, I hope, depending on how the themes in the game run, because it is an action RPG. But besides that, hopefully the actual elements of the game itself pulled together. Type-0, 15, and Bravely Default, they don't have to appeal to mass markets. They can just be what the hell they are, without having to alienate their own friends, original fans, in order the original fans who were there from the start and supported the series because they loved it for everything it was, and everything it's trying to pretend to be. In lieu of trying to grab the mass market. I don't know. I've ranted long enough. I'm gonna look through this later, I guess. Spoilers, like I said, not story spoilers, but I don't know, characters, environments in the game. I'm a stickler for that kind of things. My friends can tell you. The manga, I'll do that later too. After the game, unless I can find out exactly what the manga. I'm at the cards full. Unless I can find out exactly what the manga entails in relation to the game. I know I've ranted long enough. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.